Charles Driggs is the kind of man who blends into the background, a mild-mannered New York banker living a routine life of schedules, suits, and polite smiles. He follows every rule and hides behind his safe, predictable world. Yet beneath that carefully constructed image is a man yearning for something more, even if he does not yet know it. His life is about to be derailed by a chance encounter that changes everything. That encounter arrives in the form of Lulu, a free-spirited woman with a black bob wig, dark glasses, and an energy that radiates chaos and charm. She catches Charles in a moment of weakness when he slips away from lunch without paying, and instead of turning him in, she teases him, encourages him, and then drags him into her world. From the moment she offers him a ride, Charles is swept away by her daring spontaneity. Their playful banter soon turns into something more reckless. Lulu convinces him to skip work for the day. She tempts him to drink in the middle of the afternoon. She dares him to steal. She strips him of his banker identity, one layer at a time. What begins as a small detour spirals into a full-blown road trip. Lulu drives them out of the city and into a blur of motels, bars, and impulsive adventures. At one motel, she handcuffs Charles to the bed, leaving him both terrified and exhilarated. The man who once counted every step in his careful life is suddenly running with someone who lives only in the moment. Charles is falling deeper into her chaos, but also beginning to sense that behind her wild facade, there is something more. The truth comes when Lulu finally introduces herself not as Lulu, but Audrey. The wigs, the costumes, the attitude are all a mask to escape the pain of her past. She takes Charles to her hometown, where he meets her mother who knows her only as Audrey. Charles begins to see the vulnerable woman behind the performance. He realizes her wildness is not just about fun, but about survival and reinvention. It makes him admire her more, but also complicates what their connection truly means. The romance is no longer just reckless fun, it is becoming something deeper. But then everything shifts with the arrival of Ray, Audrey's ex-husband. Ray is magnetic and menacing, handsome but dangerous. He is everything Charles is not, unpredictable, violent, and controlling. His presence instantly changes the tone of the journey. What had been playful and romantic now feels tense and threatening. Ray sees through Charles's quiet exterior and mocks him, humiliating him at every opportunity. For Audrey, his return is a nightmare. He represents the past she tried to escape and the danger she hoped to outrun. The story becomes darker as Ray forces his way into their lives, dragging Audrey back under his shadow. Charles tries to protect her, but he is out of his depth, a banker against a man who thrives on intimidation. Yet when Ray's cruelty pushes too far, Charles discovers a courage he never believed he possessed. The quiet rule follower becomes a man willing to fight for the woman who changed his life. Their confrontation comes to a violent climax in Charles's suburban home, a place of safety now turned into a battleground. The fight between Charles and Ray is brutal, raw, and desperate. In the end, Charles kills Ray, an act that shocks him as much as it frees him. The banker, who once lived by numbers and routines, has crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. When the dust settles, Charles and Audrey share a quiet goodbye. Their time together has been transformative but uncertain. Charles has discovered the strength and daring buried inside him. Audrey has faced the ghosts of her past and found a sliver of freedom. Their romance is unresolved, not wrapped in a perfect bow, but powerful because of the changes it sparked. Something Wild begins as a quirky road comedy, full of reckless energy and romantic tension, but it shifts into something far more dangerous and profound. It is a story about identity, about the masks we wear, and the people who force us to see who we really are. It is about the fine line between freedom and chaos, love and danger, safety and passion. In Charles and Audrey's journey, we see that sometimes the wildest detours are the ones that change us forever.